I am an artist, and I have a propensity to create art. Every word I speak, every action or gesture I make, and every thought I disseminate leaves an everlasting imprint on the infinite canvas of life that we all share. I am aware that without my attentive and meaningful contributions, this space will ultimately fail to fulfill its potential, thus creating a void. Therefore, I will not fear the canvas because I know that it is a welcoming place that incessantly beckons for my warm touch. 27 years ago, in the year 1996, I started 7th grade. From the moment that I first stepped foot inside the school, I was feeling nervous. I had just left a very small private school and was entering my neighborhood public school for the first time. This was about to be my first time going to school with my friends from my block. I didn't know what to expect. What would the teachers be like? Would I be accepted by my peers? What would the walk home feel like? How would it compare to my last school? I am an artist, and I possess a skill set that is unique to its owner. With my skills, I have the ability to resculpt, redraw, and transform any obstacle that I encounter into an opportunity with a simple tilt of a thought. Even when it appears that I am short-handed, I have more than enough to construct a masterpiece. The year couldn't have started out any worse. I was bullied for my shoes. I was bullied for my height. I was bullied for wearing glasses. I was bullied for simply being smart. It seemed like being me was a sin I couldn't erase. After returning home and several nights of crying and hating my life, I decided to do the one thing that I felt would help me fit in. I decided to conform. I started intentionally doing my math homework incorrectly, simply so that the popular loud children would leave me alone. I still remember intentionally spelling a word wrong on purpose in a classroom spelling bee so that I wouldn't look smart in front of the other students. I could still see the look of disappointment on my teacher's face after I got out. She was mad. Anwar, now I know you know how to spell that word. Why? Just why? I didn't have any words for her as I sat back down. All I knew was that as my grades dropped, my popularity grew. I was starting to become what I wanted, to be accepted by my peers. This was my masterpiece. I could have won an Oscar that year. I am an artist, and I live my life in color. From my past, I have realized that finding the perfect color to match a new situation requires mixing ideas and crossing mental thresholds that were once considered taboo. As an experienced painter, I know that in order to create a new hue, I must religiously make a mess because without a mess, no new message can be created. I was a shell of my former self, but that would all change when one of my teachers requested that I and a few others be transferred to another classroom. It was like night and day. The students in my new classroom were excited about learning. They were excited about exploring. They were excited about reading. Instantly, I felt like I was at home. My new teacher wrote on my report card, Anwar catches on quickly onto what's expected and helps others understand what to do. He is a pleasure to have in class. I was flying high. I even did so well on one of my science projects that I won second place in our school-wide science fair. Things seemed as if they couldn't get any better. Then, at the end of the school year, my new classmates and I learned that our current teacher, Mrs. Nico, was going to be teaching 8th grade and that most of her students would be moving on with her. It felt like a dream come true. But then I was informed that I wasn't one of the students that would be moving on with the rest of the class. They were planning on moving me back to the old building with the old students. I was devastated. However, I felt something different in me, something intentional, something with conviction. During that year, I know my teachers had carefully crafted out lessons for me and my counterparts to learn. However, in the midst of all of this, I learned something even more valuable. I had a choice in my educational experience. After a year of seeing the lows of the lows and the highs of the highs, I told myself that I should not and would not settle for less when I knew that I could have more. So I mustered up the courage to tell my mother, who was a teacher as well, that I was now requesting a transfer because I wanted more. She granted me my wish. The first stop wasn't so great, but we got it right the next time. I felt vindicated. And for one moment in time, I felt powerful. And so as I end this piece, I share these parting words with you. I am an artist, and I'm not afraid to look into the mirror and lay eyes on a body of work that is still coming into full bloom. But in the meantime, I am not above turning the mirror in your direction and letting you know that you are an artist too.